What? Onomatopoeia is back? You've got to be kidding me. We're actually recording again. Austin, how's it feel?
Feels pretty good.
Yeah, good.
A lot
Hey,
of
guys.
stuff has happened.
Yeah. I guess we're going to call this Volume 2 now, since it's been like a year in between recordings.
Yeah, so we'll just start fresh with a new number one.
Okay, yep, new number one.
But,
everyone else is doing it. Why can't we?
yeah, we'll jump on the train.
Yeah.
There's been let's do less media talk and more focused on comics is kind of what we're going to do.
Get back to our original core fan base. All four of you listening out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Nick did a deeper dive on DC than I did. I went through 3 titles that I've really been whittling down my pull list to really focus and give more energy and time to the ones I like versus kind of speed reading, and it's more enjoyable, I think. But we can talk about the Dark Knight himself with the Batman this week, Tom King's Batman.
Yeah, that was kind of trippy, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I thought it was really interesting. Mitch Gerads, I think is the pronunciation of his last name. He was the artist on Mr. Miracle with Tom, and Mr. Miracle has now wrapped. And I thought this was a cool transitional piece to see Mitch have one of my favorite villains, Professor Pig. Watching the way he just, I love making him a horror character.
Yeah, I was very reminiscent of the Mr. Miracle stuff that was going on this past year. A lot of just weird internal. It was I think it was all just Batman's internal voice the whole time. There wasn't a single. Let me rephrase. Yeah, there was like at the last few panels there was actual speech, but most of it was just like an internal thing going on in his mind. Basically, what happens is that Batman is tied up in some kind of
Butcher
warehouse.
shop. Yeah,
some kind of warehouse with Professor Pig. Who's doing his own thing. Ha 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 ha. Whatever. But Batman can't hear him talk. He doesn't know how he got there. He doesn't know what's going on.
And that's why it's really interesting. Like Nick is saying, his internal monologue is basically what is Batman thinking at all times. It's something we really don't get a lot of before. Like it's him talking to you for like 22 pages of just like, I need to do this. I need to do this.
If there's one thing you can take away from this comic, reassess. That was the word they kept using. Reassess the situation, just over and over and over.
Interesting character study.
But it kind of turns out too that he's not really fighting Professor Pig, because he eventually convinces himself to ask the question that he's been asking himself internally the whole time: what am I doing here? How did I get here? And so then Professor Pig takes off his mask and he turns into Damien for some reason, who answers him little pig, which I don't know what's going on there.
I was wondering to let me in if it's an emotional thing that the loss he's had of his fiancée, if maybe he needs to open up to his child, or
he did discuss that a little bit about how how Selina dumped him, about how Nightwing got shot, about how he has his kids that he's put in danger, just basically the kind of stuff a parent would think of.
Yeah, but, and it's like I said, you can call me I saw some blasphemous, but I've seen people online that are in the same vein as me that think that Tom King's run on Batman might be one of the greatest runs I've ever read in comics. I love every issue of it, but I've seen people that are not fond of it, which is weird to me because I thoroughly enjoy it, and I wasn't really a huge Bat guy.
If you're a new Batman fan, I would say it's
more enjoyable.
Yeah, because Scott Snyder, he's kind of wordy like Tom King is too, where there's a lot of concepts going on, a lot of just sort of next level basically meta type shit is what's going on.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people can turn off, like especially the older Batman ones where it's all just punch, detective work and stuff, which is cool.
Which right there is actually a good tie-in to...
that was a good segue we're going to do. But anyway, before we do that, what do you think about where's this going to go in the plot? Because, he just found out Bane was playing him, and Alfred got attacked in the Batcave by Thomas Wayne apparently a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, things have been getting really intense, and this run is only going to 103 issues, and we're creeping up on the last couple arcs.
I've also read that he's going to incorporate more dark metal type stuff in this.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Which I'm thinking maybe that's something going on here. This could be some sort of dark multiverse Batman. I don't know, because it seems like Bane is kind of...
It's weird how absent Damien has been through this run. Mm-hmm. So maybe this is a hint of wow, I've really been focusing on myself, but I do have a family I need to take care of.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of where Batman's been going the last few years, where he has this family. They've played on this theme that Batman always thinks he's alone, always doing that. But now he's got
it's really crazy if you tie in the Detective Comics stuff that they've been doing earlier with Rebirth, and I mean, the Bat family is now the biggest family of any of the things.
It's bigger than the Superman extended family. All the animals included.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, and DC 1000 is actually coming up pretty soon. I've heard they're gonna have a bunch of writers on that one.
I really enjoyed the Action Comics 1000, but I think the Detective Comics could be. As an Action Comics fan, I'm even saying I think the Detective Comics 1000 could honestly be better, just because there's been so much talent in that pool to draw from.
Yeah.
And I'm fingers crossed that there's a Morrison something in there. Like if I could just get him,
that would be great.
I mean, since he's back on the bill, Yeah.
Especially since he's come back to DC and doing Green Lantern right now and everything. I wouldn't even mind too if DC 1000 turned out to just be like a retelling of Batman's greatest hits. Like I would love to see a Batman Jr. updated story somehow.
Or I mean, they could do something like that where they do like some of the most ridiculous golden or Silver Age stuff.
Seeing Joker's boner would be great in today's world.
When did that happen?
This was like a golden age story where there's a newspaper that said Joker makes a boner or something.
Okay.
In this case, meaning a mistake, not an erection.
Okay. I was like, whoa.
but yeah, no, he just. But anyway, he says, a boner. I will show them a boner. And,
I'm gonna have to Google that.
Golden Age stuff. Oh my God. That I would love to put up a list of like old time Golden Age and Silver Age stuff that just won't fly by today's.
Well,
thing.
I mean, we did get Kite Man back.
That's true.
They've got a way to turn it.
That's true. Anyway, we were gonna segue over to
King of Fear.
King of Fear. Yes.
And this was only a six-part miniseries, but it got
so good.
Kelly Jones is the artist. Is back. Who used to do Batman?
Yeah, in like the late '80s, '90s. And I was getting that vibe from this really good, and I love that hoogity boogity Batman.
It's funny. I just said I'd really like this Tom King Batman, but if I was to say if I could pick this sort of styling of a Batman, it would be the Kelly Jones art style, like you said, that hoogity boogie, that's scary,
gothic. When you think of Gotham, you think
the
like
ears
Gotham
that are
architecture
takes up the whole
like
panel.
Rabbit ears, and he has points to his glove, and he's just always scowling, and it's just this dark, horrible art that sets the tone so well.
And it really, I mean, I do like that horror thing, but especially this arc, I'm a big Jonathan Crane fan, and using Scarecrow was a really good way.
This was a really good arc, and I'm going to tell you why, Austin. It was a great arc because years ago, when I first came on to Onomatopoeia, I postulated something to you and Evan about Batman, like a story with him saying that you are the reason we are like this. You created all of us. You've let Gotham down. You're the reason. Which they did do that, and I was really really cool with that because I'm arrogant. I like my ideas on paper.
Did you like the way it concluded though?
Yes, I love that because that's something I did not expect either. That that lady, I can't remember her name.
Yeah.
But that was amazing. That the recidivity of crime is down 2% of crime Batman stops because everyone else is scared of him. And she
said something like, I bet you didn't know that.
Yeah, he tends to focus on the supervillains who keep escaping, but everyone else does not go back to crime. So that was awesome.
It was
I love
really
that
good.
So much.
And it bumps me out. Like I think that's also one good thing about a mini, like Mr. Miracle, and like that was a maxi, I guess, but this. You get such good story because it's put like right there in those 6 issues. You get every piece you need. It's not a puzzle. It's just refreshing.
Yeah, exactly. It's not something you have to know issue after issue going back and have a lot of editorial type stuff.
Also, they put out on Amazon. I'm a trade paperback guy. But I saw they're going to do a deluxe hardcover of The King of Fear. So that one's probably going to have a lot of good stuff in it.
Oh,
too,
yeah, no.
so.
I'd like some of that Kelly Jones art at the end. That would be nice. And I want... Why can't Kelly Jones do more art for Batman? Like, hopefully, he did some stuff like... during like in or not. Yeah, I guess it was in game is what they called that back in the day. The Batman one, the Snyder run with Joker. He did a couple things for that, for like the little origin of the Joker's stories, and then
I'll have to go that was that final arc that Snyder did, right?
Before RoboCop Batman. Yeah.
Oh, I forget about that.
Yeah, a lot of people do. But I'm for it, and I will argue a case against it. Anybody wants to step up to me, come at me, bro. I will support Jim Gordon Batman.
I think the concept's good, but I didn't even finish the arc. But let's switch complete gears. Okay. Did you read Young Justice?
Yes, that's right. Young Justice, that's back.
I will say that I did. Nick and I had talked previously about it. It's called Wonder. This imprint, is that what it's called?
Yeah. It's a new thing that Brian Michael Bendis has started.
I was a little worried just because Bendis has so much under his belt, but this issue was really fun. It was a very ecstatic issue, is the way it just had so much coming at you, and I didn't expect it to be like that.
Yeah, I was hoping that I would be kind of psyched out when I saw Gym World in there. I was like, oh shit, Amethyst is here.
Okay, I was gonna ask you about that. So that's old school. I've got one of those DC showcases. They're like large black and white of Gym World stuff. Mm-hmm. And I bought it because the New 52 actually had an Amethyst story.
It's on the map of the multiverse and stuff too. It's like one of the polars. Okay. I'm not sure where it is. It's like maybe across from like the Dreamscape or something, but it's like in that realm of the gods, or sphere of the gods.
Well, I liked the 52 one. It was a cool kind of sword and sorcery story, and so I had to do my research. Yeah, and it was a fun story. But then you see them in this one, and they kind of look brutal and dark and horrifying. I was like, whoa, that's not the one I'm used to.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the gods do not play in DC.
No, it got pretty serious. But I'm anxious to see where this goes.
Okay. Do you have any idea of how Connor is back? Because I'm pretty sure Connor met a pretty grisly end, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Well, so at the end he's in like a different realm or dimension or something like that.
Yeah. It didn't look like Gym World to me.
So I don't know. Maybe he's in like some sort of form of hell or something like that, and he's coming back. Who knows?
Now that Tim Drake, Robin, because Tim Drake is Robin in this one.
Yes.
And I was a little confused by that because there's so many freaking teenage superhero teams running around. And can we call it Tim World now that he's there instead of Gym World?
I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
Is this continuity? In continuity?
I assume so.
That's definitely not the Tim Drake that we know from.
That's why I'm saying is that I don't think these are kids. Because these are, if it's the Tim Drake we know and love, he is not a kid. He is a college student.
Yeah, and also, has gone through some stuff. This one doesn't look...
Exactly.
But,
Teen Lantern. No.
Okay, what is that?
No.
Is that new for this?
As far as I know, he looks like a freaking mech from what's it called? That video game from the early '90s, like Mech Warrior or something.
Oh, I don't remember.
Or it looks like the thing from RoboCop. You have 15 seconds to comply. Like it was just like I don't know. I just
there was ridiculousness, but I expected
Teen
it.
Lantern. I don't like that name.
We'll see where it goes.
And Ginny Hex. I didn't know who that was, and then I was like, when she said her name, I was like.
When she brought out a gun, that's when I was like, okay, that's a little...
Yeah, I know. I was like, that's a little on the nose.
That was a little too much.
Do you think she's time displaced, or do you think like she's...
Well, let's hope we come up with a reason why she's acting like that, because not all people from Texas act like that.
Yes, they do. Are you kidding me? They absolutely do. Haven't you seen The Big Bang Theory?
Oh, of course.
Of course we're kidding. You know?
All right, now that's all I really dove into this week. I stopped reading Green Lantern because I want to read it as a collected edition. But...
Green Lantern is trippy. This one it's interesting. I'll give you like some bullet points. Apparently God buys Earth in an auction. He bids against the Dominators and Steppenwolf. But it's some character named the Shepherd. I'm not sure if this is someone that
it almost sounds like Grant Morrison wrote this or something.
Can you imagine if he did?
It sounds so much like when you say that just sounds like a Grant Morrison story.
Well, Austin, I got some news for you. Anyway,
but no, that's really funny.
Yeah, no, again, I can't tell you how hilarious that is to me. Remember when I commented in the first thing the first issue of it, how they can't trust the Book of Oa because it has the big hydrogen Dr.
Yes.
Manhattan at him. So that just makes me laugh that he like references an Alan Moore work, because those two have a hilarious like feud going on.
Oh,
Like,
did they?
that dates back, yeah. Morrison like calls Alan Moore's work like childish or something, and Alan Moore's like, "Fuck you, I have a beard." So it's really really funny. If you ever get a chance to read it, it's
Okay,
entertaining.
I'll have to Google
Yeah.
that. But yeah, that looked interesting. Was there anything else good this week, or that you said you read Justice League?
I did read Justice League. What's going on with that? Recently, they've been on Thanagar Prime again. For those of you that remember from Dark Knight's Metal, it's where Onomar Sin and Starro and who's now named Jarro, because there's only a little piece of him. That's funny. I like that. And Martian Manhunter were there. Now that Onomar Sin has been deposed since Metal, Shira Hall is now the queen of Thanagar Prime. But anyway, there's apparently some sort of multiverse secret at Thanagar Prime, and they find out that actually Thanagar Prime is a lie, that it's not real, it's all a manufacture by some smarty pants Martian. It reminds me of the Supreme Intelligence from the Kree.
Okay.
Where basically all of their knowledge, all of their culture, all their history, all of who they are is basically through this person. And they're also alluding to a multiverse that existed before the current multiverse, how very Marvel of them. And the person who created this is coming back, and apparently she is pissed. It's someone named what's the name? It's not Persephone. I can't remember. I'll have to double check. But yeah, it's like Prospera or something. But Austin, I don't know about this multiverse before the current multiverse stuff. That's
the
Marvel's
second
bag.
issue in this arc, right? Because I think I jumped in the first one because I thought I was going to have Carter Hall in it, but
it did. It does, but it's not really him.
Okay, because
he's made up.
There's
too.
a fantastic Hawkman series going on right now, but it has nothing to do with these guys, I guess.
Yeah, no, this is all the manufacturing, except like Shire Hall and like certain things, basically the parts they want to keep.
It's funny, they finally got Hawk Girl and Martian Manhunter in there, and they are really using them.
Yeah, they are. They really are. They're, and I guess at the same time you have Wonder Woman and Batman and Superman just trying to contain Will Payton, the Starman that's going on. Which I'm not very familiar with Starman myself.
Is it Starman like
90s Starman,
like all black with stars on him. That one.
He has a black suit with one white star. Like I said, it's the 90s.
Okay.
Starman.
So it's not like the James Robinson one.
No, not the Golden Age.
Okay.
Not the Golden Age Starman.
Now before we move, I want to talk about some Marvel stuff. Are you continuing? Yet again, another book that I've dropped to focus on whenever the trades come back is Gaiman's Sandman series. There's Lucifer, House of Whispers, The Dreaming.
The Vertigo type stuff.
I read the first 2 issues of each of them, and they're definitely Gaiman books. I'll say that. I mean, he's not writing them, but he's overseeing the whole process.
Yeah,
But just the stylized version that they have is definitely him. But
yeah.
I'm gonna wait for trades on these. Are you keeping up with these at all?
Trade would be definitely the way to go with these kinds of ones, because it's kind of like the Morrisons and the Moores and stuff, where they have very wordy, just thought kind of based
and
stuff.
It's funny when I jump back in like a month later, I don't remember what happened.
Yeah,
it's crazy that it doesn't stick with me that as well.
And there's so many of them, it's hard to kind of keep them because they're all in the same realm, and I'm sure
there's
Sandman
an overarching
fans,
story as well, which is between all 4 titles. But and also they've got some of the best artists. I mean, it's really pretty books, all of them.
Oh yeah, no, it's really really pretty. It's going to be interesting for sure whenever the trades come out.
The books that I will rep this week that I am not reading because yet again trades. Bitterroot, David Walker, and Sanford Green, they did the Power Man and Iron Fist book. I love that art style, and I think David Walker does some good stuff. He did the Nighthawk series for Marvel and Occupy Avengers.
What label is Bitterroot on?
It's an Image book.
Image. Oh, okay. Then
it's
I
a very
probably have it
cool
somewhere.
Story, but I'm going to wait for trades because it's really good. And then Murder Falcon by Daniel Warren Johnson, who did Extremity, which I love that book.
Is that another Image?
Yes, and he is not just the writer; he is the penciler as well. So it's all his book.
Perpetua is what that lady's name is. Like
Perpetual?
perpetual motion. Perpetua.
I don't know about this.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what to think about that because Austin and I had spoken before the beginning of the podcast where we were kind of saying, they kind of should leave it at metal for now. I'm sure there's a crisis coming. I can smell it, Austin. I smell a crisis coming.
Well, is Heroes in Crisis not going to be counted? Like, is Heroes in Crisis like Infinite Crisis, where
I
it's
don't
not
think
a full?
I don't think that's going to be counted as a crisis. That reminds me about Young Justice. What do you think about him saying that there were 7 crises on Earth, and we've been affected by them or something? We haven't.
I guess I missed that.
I was trying to think too. I was like, have there been 7 crises?
Okay, so let's see. Crisis on Infinite Earths.
There's also the first one, Crisis of Two Earths, like the old one. Whenever the Justice
JSL
League
and the JSA and the JS.
Yeah, JLA. Yeah, they crossed.
That
there's
counts?
also, I think there's also the Earth Prime one too, when the what are they called? The evil ones, Ultraman, Owlman,
the Morrison run,
the Crime Society or something, or
Crime
whatever.
Syndicate, right?
Crime Syndicate, yeah. I think that one counts too. And then of course there's Infinite Earths, there's Infinite Crisis, Final Crisis. Would you count Flashpoint as a crisis? And maybe Metal? Flashpoint and Metal, maybe?
I don't know. Or does it like? I think we need. Let's. Jeff Johnson's here. Jeff, what do you think? He'd have the exact answer.
Yeah. If you guys in the comments know, please tell us so that way we kind of know.
I understand crisis is kind of like their thing,
and it's a broad term. Too.
Yeah, but I really like. I can't remember if you disliked or not, but Final Crisis still was just a hard-hitting book for me. That book was just, I remember reading that the first time, and I was like,
there's a lot going on.
I'm going to have to reread this several times, and I have, and I still don't think I have my head around everything in it.
It's very Morrison-y, isn't it?
It's crazy to think there was a time where he was literally like the head guy over there with Batman and Final Crisis.
Yeah, him and Jeff were a big brain in it. I think
it is really insane.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's so much going on in Final Crisis. You literally need to have your companion book there, otherwise you're lost.
It's like Multiversity. I leave Multiversity as my what do you call that, bathroom book, because I read it so much and I keep finding new stuff all the time.
I love Multiversity. Yeah, the other day I was rereading Final Crisis, and like the beginning when Overgirl just shows up and she's there. I was like, hey, that's where Overgirl went, because I was wondering about that in Multiversity.
Oh, was she?
Yeah, she was in that.
I still think we need some more Captain Carrot action from Multiversity to spread out there.
And the Zoo Crew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all right, let's jump to Marvel. Nick didn't get as much chance as much time.
I skimmed through them.
But I'll talk about our favorite book. For it's really crazy. It came out of nowhere. Avengers: No Surrender was this kind of a culmination of a few different.
It was
arcs.
interesting. Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's my favorite thing, but
it's kind of like Kings of Fear, where it was like a mini series, sort of. It only ran for about 10 issues, but it was weekly.
It combined USA Avengers, Uncanny Avengers, The Avengers, and I think that was it. But the biggest
champions there too. I can't remember.
I think they helped at the very end of it. Yeah. They brought back the Black Order, and if you're a Hickman fan, it's exciting to see them in action.
We love the Black Order.
But what the craziest thing is, they dropped this book a couple months ago, and the author's name is Derek Landy, and I looked him up, and he's actually a young adult writer for kids' books. I work at a bookstore, and I went there and found his books.
Did he write for Archie?
No.
Okay, then I was gonna say, if he did, I know why you like him.
No, no, these are actually like children's books, like
okay.
I'm trying to compare it to something
like Artemis Fowl or something
that
like
vein.
That. Okay, yeah.
But the artist Philip Tan he's the guy that. This book, The Black Order, is really great because it's in space, and these are dark people and dark characters, and you can really get an evil feel out of it. But
they're not so bad either, though. Like just the way.
And that's why I love the art, because there's points where they're like in a very neutral, like white area, and they kind of shine. Like it goes in between it. But Philip Tan did the book we liked, Curse of Brimstone. He's the artist on that.
Yeah, one of the good things that came out of Metal.
But yeah, so this book is really interesting. Because I don't know who it's for. I know Nick and I like it because it's the Black Order.
I think it was made for us, basically.
It sounds like it because I don't know how popular they are. I know the movie, The Avengers: Infinity War.
It's what we needed, but it's something we didn't ask for. If that makes sense.
Yes, that's the perfect summary. But
I love Black Dwarf. He's so good. He's like in the first issue, he was like, "Excuse me, this is not the right tea I had ordered." Like, and he was just so polite. Like, it was great.
And you'll love in this third issue, it's basically him monologuing, and it's very interesting. But yeah, I didn't look at these characters in this way, and you're like, wow, these guys really operate well on their own. And another thing that I applaud Marvel for doing is this doesn't have like 15 different characters from the past. All these characters, like if you go to the Wikipedia page of it, they're all first appearances besides the Black Order. Like they're opening up new territory, and also that's a great jump on point for people.
Yeah. Now that Thanos really isn't in the picture anymore.
What do you think they're gonna do about that?
Oh no, Thanos will come back. Are you kidding me? Like with all this MCU shit going on, they'll be crazy to not bring him back.
I just want to know how
Nobody stays dead in comics.
Speaking
forever.
about that, let's move on to
unless you're Uncle Ben.
I want to go on to Captain Marvel just to go over something. Captain Marvel, I love Carol, and we've got this motion picture coming, so they're going to push it. And I'm not too big of a fan of Kelly Thompson. She's doing Hawkeye, and now continuing on to West Coast Avengers, and she's done a lot of stuff for Marvel. But this take, Margaret Stohl did the last Life of Captain Marvel series.
Margaret Stohl is pretty good.
And it's all right, but
she's good.
It's crazy that these people, and I'm maybe it's just a nostalgia thing because it's the one that I really got hooked on. I love Kelly Sue DeConnick's take on Carol. Like, it just nailed it, and these other ones I just don't feel it. And this book was just, I was showing Nick some of these panels. It's one of the wordiest books I've ever seen, and that wordy is not a problem in comics, but you could tell that it couldn't fit on the page with the art.
Yeah.
But
so what was going on in the issue? Like,
basically, Carol, she's went to go take care of her brother and mother in Maine for a little bit.
Kind of a continuation of the life and times. Right?
Yeah, that's what she did. So she comes back, and now she's gonna kind of be back here on Earth. But by the end of the issue, she's shipped off from Nuclear Man. So nothing.
It was like it reminded me when I read it. I was like, hey, is this the episode of Justice League?
Is that
where
called
Toyman,
Out of Time?
I think so. Where they sent Superman to the future, but they all thought he died. Like,
they have a ceremony for him too. Yeah.
It was exactly the same thing. The other thing I want to know too is Rhodey was in this, right?
Yes. So this is what we're going to talk about. Never dying.
What?
Okay, so do you know?
Did I miss something? Didn't Rhodey die in Civil War II?
Civil War II, and that was a big thing. That was
the big thing. That's why that's what did it.
Jim Walters and James Rhodey were basically killed, but Jin pulled through.
Yeah, Rhodey was run through.
Dead.
Yeah,
which was, I thought it's crazy because that is a very important character, and I was like, wow, they really killed someone. We all knew Tony was not dead.
Yeah,
and he never
plot coma, literally.
He never actually went away either because his AI was constantly with what's her name, Ironheart.
Okay.
So he somehow, we figured out that his consciousness was able to bring his body back to life. Like that happened, and he speculated that because Rhodey used the Iron Man armor so much that they could use that amount of energy put into it to rejuvenate his body to bring him to life, and it worked. But now he has he has a fear of body armor and only rides around in a tank.
Okay, so
and they make a joke about it that his new name is going to be Tank Boy or Man Tank.
Tank Top. Okay, so he's scared of armor, but he's cool to roll around it in an armored tank.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember when he had a satisfying death where you're like, wow, I feel like this is a good thing. Like,
oh, this is real. Why is this real? Jeez, man, this isn't some like Earth 99146 type stuff or oh my gosh. Okay.
There's some. I'm just gonna say if you Punisher is if I was not really a Punisher fan until Matthew Rosenberg took over, and actually Matt Rosenberg is the one that made Frank steal the War Machine armor.
Okay, yeah, no, that was awesome,
and that was a really
good.
cool
I
arc.
like that a
and
lot.
Actually, that arc ended with James coming back in the tank and stopping him, saying, "I want my armor back," even though he didn't use it. But
that's good,
and that
makes sense.
But I just want to say that's a good book. But the last book I really want to talk about is Web of Venom. Donny Cates is Venom is my favorite book right now.
Donny Cates is the best thing going for Marvel right now.
And he's got like 18 books too.
And they know. They know.
But Web of Venom is really fun. There's side stories. The first one was Venom, where it takes place in Vietnam, and a symbiote is with him.
Oh, like when they first started Venom, like in the black guy.
It was really, really interesting. Yeah. And then they had a Carnage born.
Oh, okay. Cool. Tell me.
Story.
Okay, Carnage. Sentry ripped him in half, right? And then he was part of Axis, where he sacrificed himself. How is he back?
Cletus Cassidy has been kept underground, like his destroyed body, and worshipped by the people that the symbiote god Null.
Like the Clintar race.
Yeah, the main god of that has a cult that worships Cletus, and they were able to rejuvenate him with symbiote stuff. And now Cletus has got this huge head because he's been worshipped, and he feeds off all of these people. And
that's the last thing he needs. Yeah.
And so
is he back to like serial killer type?
He's more maniacal now. He breaks off pieces of his symbiote, and he puts them in people, and now he has control over it, like a zombie horde.
Oh, okay, like a hive mind.
Yes.
That's cool.
And
that's
so,
cool.
But it's building underground, and Eddie's symbiote took a break from him and got on his dog and went out in the streets and sensed out Cletus, because he remembers the last time I saw him where he ripped the symbiote right off of Eddie's body.
And I would think that they would have some kind of like mental link, since they're all like hive mind like that.
Yeah, and so now basically we see that the big bad is actually Cletus could really fuck up the MCU,
which is good. That's what he should do, because I mean he's basically the Joker of this universe.
Yeah, and if they bring him in this hard too, it could, throw everyone off. And then one really cool thing, Donnie he wrote the first two webs, and this is the final one before the new arc starts. Ryan Stegman is the penciler on Venom.
Okay.
He wrote and drew this one, and it's really cool because they do it out of the dog's perspective. And it
was a really well drawn issue,
and I think that's really cool storytelling when you get the guy that's involved with it. The only thing I think he's actually written, he did Batman and the Outsiders a couple years ago, a small arc I liked that he wrote. Instead of
not this one that got canceled.
I don't want to talk about that. That hurts my feelings. I was so excited for that book.
I know. And they had solicitations for it and everything. I don't know why. I don't. I mean, I'm sure if I look online, I could find out. But
it's crazy. They've been throwing that guy around. What's his name? Brian
Hitch.
Yeah. For a while, he was going to be taking over detective. He worked on a Wildstorm Michael Cray. I don't know if you read any of that.
Yeah, no, I know what Michael Cray is.
That was a pretty cool thing, but I don't know what's happening.
Did you finish Michael Cray? Did you actually like that?
I like that last arc with the trying to find Arthur Curry.
Yeah, well, I like that too, because like it turned out Wonder Woman was the bad guy, and she slept with Lex Luthor, and John Constantine was bald.
What was the one girl that's also in it?
I'm not sure. It might be a Wildstorm character.
There was one other main female that was like kind of an accomplice. I'll have to go back and read it.
Well,
that's in trades now. I guess
I was gonna say it came out I think like a month or two ago. So yeah, it'll be a trade now.
But yeah, besides that, for us, I think if we're gonna probably hone in more, is kind of getting our feet wet again. We'll really dive into these issues, and I think we'll each probably pick a issue every week to really focus on to go into it, because I've noticed a lot of reviews and stuff. I don't want to just sit here and suck at stick, but I also don't want to sit here and complain, because each one is really like, I could take the worst book this week and it's still fantastic.
Yeah, we're not here to like gripe about stuff. We do gripe because we're arrogant and we like things the way we like them. But credit to these guys. They're getting their work published. We're just here complaining on the internet. So
but we all we want to do is give you maybe a little piece of information to go out there and you pick up a book based on what we.
And you guys, if you got something you want to talk about in the comments, you go right ahead and you talk about it, and we will hit you back. We are starved for attention, please.
Yeah, or if there's a book that maybe we don't give attention to, let us know, and we'll read it, because we for a while there we were reading like 30 titles a month, 30 titles a week.
I know we were really doubling up, and I think we kind of burnt ourselves out a little bit.
Yeah, and I think and also I feel the industry has changed. I can tell storytelling wise it's changing right now.
Definitely, so. But I think this is the right time to come back. We're gonna try and update as much as we can. We're gonna try and do cons this year. We're gonna try. We're gonna try. No guarantees.
Nick, what's a place where do we have a Twitter? Where's the place they can see anything
yeah,
like
you
that?
guys keep checking back our social media stuff. You can find us at Twitter at Onomatopoeia Media. We're also on Instagram, Onomatopoeia Media. We have Patreon at Onomatopoeia. That one wasn't taken. I was surprised. We're also on Facebook, Onomatopoeia Media. Yeah, you can find us pretty much anywhere.
So we're going to keep more updated with that stuff. But yeah, any last comments?
You know, why were we not distracted today? This like went so fast. Like this, it feels crazy how fast this went.
I think that's a good thing. Streamline it.
I know. Yeah. You got anything else coming out? I'm excited for Guardians of the Galaxy for Marvel. We were talking about this before we started recording, and holy shit, holy shit, this lineup.
We also want to say written by Donny Cates.
I know. Okay. Who can they fight with these people? There's nobody they can step up to.
That's the time when we're talking about the Null, the symbiote venom, symbiote deity. Perhaps there's going to be the planet, because remember they went to Clintar.
Yeah, because Clintar they're actually like good guys, right? And they just take on the attitude of whoever they first absorbed or like something like that.
So perhaps like they're going to meet up again. Maybe that's a big thing. Yeah. Maybe it'll all tie in together.
We're going to do another Guardians of the Galaxy Venomized series. You know, who hasn't been Venomized yet?
Everyone's been Venomized, I'm pretty sure.
I was gonna say, yeah. I would enjoy another Web of Venom stuff, like if they did kind of the Edge of the Venomverse.
Yeah.
If they did that a little more focused, because I know we were a little put off by the first ones, but holy shit, looking back, I mean,
I like the Venomverse. The Venomverse, the Edge of the Venomverse was, the specific stories are hit and miss with me, but the
Edge
actual
of the
story
Venomverse
was
did gave us symbiote Doctor Doom. That I liked.
I think it's in the actual.
We are Doom.
Yeah, I think
he said we are Doom.
I think it's in the actual book Venomverse, like issue 3.
Okay, yeah.
Where there's one panel
Power
in
Man
it
wearing the Iron Man,
where it's just Doom, symbiote Doom sitting on a throne, and it just looks so like, oh my goodness.
He still reports to Venom, whatever Thanos, I think too.
Oh, and I forgot they venomized Thanos too.
It was like the opposite. It was almost like anti-Venom Thanos. Do you think they're gonna? Speaking of that, do you think they're gonna bring Flash back ever?
Oh, Flash.
Have you been keeping up with Spider-Man as well? Like the new stuff they did.
Are you not caught up on Venom?
No.
They killed Flash Thompson.
No, I know that. They killed him in Spider-Man like 800, I want to say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because he like sacrificed himself.
Oh, so he died in Spider-Man?
Yeah, he was the big death in like 800 or whatever. And that's when I texted you. I'm like, hey, you are going to hate this issue.
Well, the way they handled it in Venom, I didn't know that happened then. I'm going to have to read that now.
Yeah. It was, I know. It was the Carnage Goblin. That's what it was. The Red Goblin. I stuff. He sacrificed himself for that.
I guess I'm just going to have to buy that trade. That's still the Slott stuff, right? Dan Slott's work?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because Slott, his last one was 800, I think, and then now it's...
I'll just have to go buy that because that Red Goblin stuff looks pretty creepy.
Yeah. Are you keeping up with X-Men at all?
Uncanny X-Men has done nothing for me. I really wanted to be blown away, but I think I just maybe need a break from... It's like, I was so excited when Inhumans became popular, and then by the time, like 2 years later, I was like, I'm gonna need a break from the Inhumans.
Yeah,
and right now I think that's the way with mutants. I'll come back to them, but right now I just need them.
It's a shame, too, because they really could have... Marvel really could have made, like, the Inhumans their new mutants, since they tried to... they wanted to distance themselves as far back as they could. Same with Fantastic Four is back.
Do you like that?
I've never been a huge Fantastic Four fan myself.
I gotta say, I
like them as characters, but I don't like them as a group, if that makes sense.
I am a big fan of the Four, but we're only 5 issues in, I think, and it's just...
Are you happy your ever-loving old blue-eyed thing got married?
Come
over here, Alicia.
It's just... it's just not what the story wants.
It's kissing time.
I honestly just would like to watch another, some really heady author that maybe has not, maybe like steal from Image or or some other company, bring him in and do another Future Foundation book. Yeah, I would really like that.
Yeah, well, Hickman just set the bar so high. Like, there's nothing you can really do.
Did you read after that Matt Fraction took over?
Fraction, he did good too.
And it was fun because he did it.
Is that the one where they had like the Mr. Negative, or not Mr. Negative? It was like some like really high
powered.
Yeah, some high powered person that like has known Reed for like since the 60s or something. It was like some minor character in like a 60s.
But they had a really like that early Fantastic Four vibe to it, but still heady thought space. But
yeah, which that's what Fantastic Four should be, just next level, like
bonkers stuff.
Couldn't you see Grant Morrison writing that? Like,
oh man, I'd kill for that. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be some like
maybe have Morrison jump over there, but no, he's probably gonna be with DC for a while.
Yeah, well, the DC's treat him right. They feature him in all the big stuff and everything. Has he ever? Yeah, he wrote for X-Men, didn't he?
Yeah, he did that what new X-Men run.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
that's
Zorn. That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
But all right, we're rambling now. But go out there, buy, support. And we'll catch up. This is a Thursday, and we'll probably record Thursdays from now on and hopefully have everything out on Fridays. So we'll be on the pulse of it this time. So thank you guys, and have a good day.
Read your comics. Thanks.